everyone on Zoom and YouTube. It's wonderful to be here on this chilly afternoon, morning. We'd like to start with the Three Refuges. Begin. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I got a little ahead of myself. So we're going to start with the Three Refuges, which you can find in the chat, a copy of that, and we will start together. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving support community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the three jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. Now we'll continue to the Heart Sutra. Dhamma Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion prajna paramita. Perceived the emptiness of all five skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So an emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna paramita. Therefore, the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna paramita is the great Dharma, the radiant, fearless mantra, the utmost supreme mantra, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna paramita. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisattva. Prajna paramita hridaya sutra. Good morning, everyone, again. This is a time of year where we're reminded of gratitude. Thanksgiving just happened. And as a temple, I wanted to make a land acknowledgement. And I wanted to, from the first people that live here, and I still live here, I need to... We would like to recognize the first people of the three fires, the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi people, whose land we are gathered. The Three Fires people are indigenous to this land, which means that their ancestral home, territory, every home, business, governmental agency, university, hospital, and religious or spiritual organization is built on stolen land. We are guests on their land, and one way to practice right relations is to develop genuine ways of land acknowledgement. The histories and traditions of people who originated here first and who are still here, and who tend to the land always. As we make this land acknowledgement, we know it is but an important first step, and there are many more steps that we need to take when we decide to engage in the important work of social justice. So, keeping that in mind, and it's not to dwell on the past, but to remember what has happened and to move forward. We today I am talking about the paramita, the first paramita, which paramita just means perfection. And the first paramita is the paramita of generosity. So the perfection of generosity and its relationship to gratitude. So why is it important? When you think of us as a civilization or as a people, we have always been in community. Community is, it's like you don't see a person out in the wilderness, or sometimes you do, but we need each other to survive. And it's been shown throughout history that when we are in a community, we thrive. And community is built on giving and receiving, reciprocity, that continual giving and receiving energy. And just think of a time you got the best gift of your life. Whatever it could be material, it could be a teaching. Just think of the time when you got a gift and how did it make you feel? Remember that feeling. And do you remember a time when you gave a gift? Someone to a family member, a coworker, a good friend. How did that giving that gift make you feel? This feeling of giving and receiving is so wholesome. And there's the way a bodhisattva lives their life. And bodhisattva, there's a lot of different ways of defining a bodhisattva, and it can get mystical. But what it really boils down to is someone who is serious about individual and social transformation, someone to help society, to help other people. I have page 19 of the Becoming Bodhisattvas by Pema Chodron, which I don't have in the chat, but I wanted to bring up the three kinds of giving that the Buddha talks about. And this is material, which is what we mostly think about when we give a gift, is a material object. But we also have the gift of a helping hand, fearlessness, giving a flashlight to someone who needs a light. And the third gift is the gift of truth, or the gift of Dharma, the teachings. And so just to remember the three types of gifts and keep that in the back of your head as I go on. There is a section in the Way of the Bodhisattva, which goes like, if transcendent giving is to dissipate the poverty of beings, in what way, since the poor are always with us, have former Buddhas practiced perfect generosity? The true intention to bestow on every being all possessions and the fruits of such gift, by such the teachings say, is generosity perfected. And this, as we may see, is but mind itself. So Shantideva, who originally wrote the Way of the Bodhisattva, sometimes when you see those, when you read these teachings, they can be hard to understand sometimes. And when you think of the poor are always with us, and the states of mind, there's a story that
the Buddha was offering food and everything, and this woman who was just she wanted the food so badly she could not think of any other way. She had past karma, and she just was so enveloped in her own greed, she couldn't see anything else. And the Buddha tried to awaken her. He tried to have her see the light, and he told her, if you can say you don't need this, then I will feed you for the rest of your life, and you won't have to worry about anything. All you have to do is say, I do not need this food, and wait a minute. And she could not bring herself to do that. So he still fed her that day, but she never came back. And that kind of goes to show how, if you're in a poverty mindset, or you have that feeling of greed, and how these poisons can corrupt you. So that shows that generosity, when you are free giving, can be an antidote to that. There is a story that I was first introduced by Brad Warner. Brad Warner is a Zen monk and a writer who had translated Dogen's Shobogenzo in more modern terminology. And the particular section I want to focus on the Shobogenzo, Dogen was not too ancient, but lived a long time ago, and is a very prominent writer in Zen teachings. And his Shobogenzo, the translation I'm going to be using is the Tanahashi translation. And Shobogenzo basically just means treasury of the true Dharma I. The section I'm going to be going over is the 4 ways bodhisattvas embrace living beings. And the first is generosity, giving. And it's so important. And what Dogen has to say, I really wanted to show you guys today. The very first quote I have in this is, the Buddha said, when a person who practiced giving goes to an assembly, people take notice. Know that the mind of such a person communicates subtly with others. This being so, give even a phrase or a verse of the truth. It will be a wholesome seed for this and other lifetimes. Give your valuables, even a penny, or a wholesome root, or a blade of grass. It will be a wholesome root for this and other lifetimes. The truth can turn into valuables. Valuables can turn into the truth. This is all because the giver is willing. This boils down to, when you give, it is noticed. People notice when you are kind and you have a caring attitude. Even a smile, a small gesture, it can be a gift. And at the end, if the giver is willing, meaning there is no ulterior motive behind your gift, and that is very important when it comes to wholesome giving. The second section I'd like to go to shows, it goes like this. A king, Emperor Tai of the Tang Dynasty, gave his beard as medicine to cure his retainer's disease. A child offered sand to the Buddha and became King Ashoka in a later birth. They were not greedy for reward, but only shared what they could. To launch a boat or build a bridge is an act of giving. If you study giving closely, you see that to accept a body and to give up the body are both giving. Making a living and producing things can be nothing other than giving. To leave flowers to the wind, to leave birds to the seasons are also acts of giving. So this section right here is what I really wanted to bring up, because the first 2 stories are the king, the emperor, and the child. In ancient China, beard hair was seen as a medicinal property, and so when the king found out the subject needed this medicine, he didn't even think about it. He didn't think twice. He just cut his beard and sent it to the subject to be healed. So it was just like a selfless gift. And then with the story of the child and the Buddha, it's kind of beautiful to imagine the Buddha walking down, giving alms, and having a kid come up to him, no older than 5, and all the kid had was a handful of dirt, and the Buddha accepted it because it was a gift that that's all the kid had, and it was a genuine gift. So those are 2 important stories what Dogen is trying to convey here. And launching a boat or a bridge, think about how many people can cross that once it's built. Or it's like things you don't think of as gifts. And even thinking about the wind, you are always giving your oxygen or your carbon dioxide to plants, and plants are always giving their oxygen. It's a complete cycle that we're not even aware of. And Dogen brings that to light here, that every action, even going to work, you might not think of going to work as giving, but to make a living, it's like this whole interconnected web that the Buddha keeps bringing up. And generosity and giving and reciprocity is all connected with that. The second quote, or the third quote I have going down from this teaching is, the great King Ashoka was able to offer enough food for hundreds of monks and half a matrabun fruit, basically a peach. People who practice giving should understand that King Ashoka thus proved the greatness of giving. Not only should you make an effort to give, but also be mindful of every opportunity to give. You are born into this present life because you originally embodied the merit of giving in the past. So always remember your opportunities to give. There's so many opportunities if you pass by, and it doesn't have to be material. Remember the other 2 is giving a kind word or sharing the Dharma. A smile, something subtle, can be a gift to someone who is down. So just when you're walking today or you're going throughout your life, just remember, what can I give? What can I share from my authentic self? The next quote I have from Dogen is goes like this. The Buddha said, if you are to practice giving to yourself, how much more so to your parents, wife, and children? Thus know that to give to yourself is a part of giving. To give to your family is also giving. Even when you give a particle of dust, you should rejoice in your own act, because you authentically transmit the merit of all Buddhas and begin to practice an act of a bodhisattva. And that sounds so glorious. But just to take a step back and think, like, everything you do is a gift. And just to be conscious of that. And to remember to give to yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't you can't help anybody if you are in a ditch, or if the plane is going down. You need to put the oxygen mask on yourself before you can help someone else, or you'll pass out. So this theme continues to show up. Give to yourself. And it's not a selfish act, because once you give to yourself, you can give to others, and it becomes a ripple effect, and it keeps growing. It's like the loving kindness, compassion, meditation. You start with yourself. You go out to your family, to your friends, to people you are acquaintances with, to people you don't really like, and to the whole world. Same thought of giving. And then that is the first step of a bodhisattva, someone who wants to help the world, someone who wants to help ease suffering, what the Buddha taught from the very beginning. The last quote, I have 2, one from this translation and then one from Brad Warner's translation, which I think will be make a little bit more sense. But so the mind, this is the translation in the book. The mind of a sentient being is difficult to change. Keep on changing the minds of sentient beings. From the moment that you offer one valuable to the moment that they attain the way, this should be initiated by giving. Thus, giving is the first of the 6 paramitas. Mind is beyond measure. Things given are beyond measure. And yet, in giving, mind transforms the gift, and the gift transforms the mind. And from Brad Warmer's same section, his translation. It's hard to change anyone else's mind, but by giving to others, we are doing our own little bit to help them learn giving. That's why free giving is number 1 in the list of things a bodhisattva does. You can never measure the value of anything you give, whether it's big or small, but there are times when minds do change for the better, and free giving is always a part of that change. So, and if you are interested in this translation, it came from Beyond Zen, author of Don't Be a Jerk, Brad Warner. More practical advice from Dogen. And it's got a cool, you probably can't see it from this angle, but it's got a really cool picture for the front. But going back to the gift, it transforms, that the simple act of giving is what it boils down to. That gift of love and kindness, of respect, of a smile. Just remember, everything you do in life is a gift. And think of the gifts that you get and you receive. And it continues on growing this Sangha. The gift of spiritual support can really help someone on the way, someone out of a bad situation. So I wanted everyone to know how important generosity is to the Buddha and to his teachings, and why Dogen and so many other spiritual teachers after the Buddha continue to write about it and continue to share it. And that's why I'm sharing it with you today. So thank you. And please prepare yourselves for meditation. We bow. Seems like my timer wasn't going on, so it should have been 15 minutes, but it may have been longer. We have some announcements. First, this is an exciting announcement. Next week, Sunday, December 5th, will be our first in-person service. We ask that you are fully vaccinated if you come in wearing a mask. At this moment, we are not having any restriction on how many people are in here, but we want to let you know that we are going to continually clean the space and have everyone spaced out as much as we possibly can. So December 5th, we'll be open. December 12th, we will be open. December 19th, we will not be open. It'll be a virtual service. Just remember that. And then the following week, the 26th, we'll be open. I think we have another announcement.
Thank you. Gail Arkatia Sattva. I'm on the board and fundraising committee. I have two announcements. Number one, we're looking for enthusiastic people to join us for the fundraising committee, particularly given the fact that we're reopening, which is incredibly exciting. If you have an interest, get a hold of me on the website or at the service at our reopening. Last announcement, I wanted to remind people, I showed this particular bench a couple of weeks ago. We will have them for purchase. They're made by Drew Nelson, Sangha member. He's a woodworker. They're $60. Contact me through the website if you're interested, or they'll be for sale at the Buddha Boutique. Yay. Thank you.
Thank you. And I wanted to mention we are still having Thursday morning discussion group here at the temple downstairs. We are reading the book The Heart of the Buddha's Meditation. So if you are interested in coming to that, we have a meditation at around 9:35, and then the discussion begins at 10 o'clock. We also have, we are very involved in the recovery community. We have 3 meetings if you are suffering from addiction or anything else, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and all that information can be found on our website. Thank you. If we finish off with the closing gathas, and then I would love for you to continue and stay and have our virtual tea. Oh, my leg. For all unskillful states of mind, conveyed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passions, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to penetrate. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. See ya.